Since the 1980s, bovine TB has been on the rise across Britain. If a cow is infected, it must be destroyed, and as a result, it's cost both farmers and the taxpayer millions of pounds.
The government has come to the conclusion that badgers are the primary source of this problem. And so if we cull badgers, well, we'll reduce the spread of disease. But there's been mass uproar to these culls, and many protests have been held throughout Britain, including the one here today in Bristol, which is expected to be one of the biggest.
Because when we were dairying, we actually had a TB outbreak, so I totally understand the emotional and the financial side of what a TB outbreak causes in cattle. But I can tell you now that most of the farmers actually are against the cull. They realise that there's no science to it. In fact, it could make things worse, and I appeal to all those farmers that are actually supporting the cull that they look at the science, look at everything that we're being told, and they will see that badger culling never was and never will be a means of controlling bovine TB in cattle.
Why do you think badgers are worth saving as animals just by themselves?
Well, obviously I'm going to say any animal is worth saving. I really do believe that. I've never been happy with the concept of a sort of nuisance animal or a pest animal. I'm not sure I'd go on a march to save mosquitoes, for example. Nobody in the conservation movement, pro-badger, is against farming or against cattle or whatever, we're not. Nothing we'd like to see better than TB completely eradicated, because we want a healthy countryside. It's good for farmers and it's good for wildlife.
Well, as a wildlife filmmaker, I've been doing my best to raise awareness amongst the public of the issues, because some of the mainstream media has not been very helpful in, it's a complex issue, but very clear. The science is clear, but it needs explaining. And then I've been out watching the cull in operation. Because there was so little monitoring from the government, I wanted to see for myself whether it was a total shambles.
And what did you find?
And it was a total shambles.
In the way of real gut-feeling decision-making. We wake up in the morning knowing it's wrong to abuse a wildlife, a creature that's lived in this country for 500,000 years, if not more. We know it's wrong, and then somebody on our other shoulder says, well, yeah, but it's 20 billion quid. We made up money. It's our construct. And don't get me wrong, I do live in the real world, and of course I pay food bills, and I do understand how it affects individuals. But there's a baseline of care and value in what I describe as the real world that we mustn't lose sight of. This was shown by the randomised badger culling trial in the independent science group study that took 10 years, 50 million quid, and came up with a simple and straightforward stark conclusion: killing badgers can make no meaningful contribution to the control of BTB in the British Isles. That's been ignored.
So you've heard the very strong opinions here today, and we've also looked at some of the facts. Only time will tell now if it'll make a difference.